The WWE Draft in 2023 is finally done. AEW's All In pre-sale started today, and a certain WWE Superstar has announced that they are pregnant. All this and more on the main event. Hello, my name is Toby King, and welcome to the main event. We are recently removed from the WWE 2023 draft, and it was very interesting. I mean, some very interesting things happened, such as the whole bloodline got drafted together, and after Friday Night SmackDown, I was really shocked to see that the Usos got drafted to SmackDown as well. It almost seemed like Roman was going to split them up because he's kind of annoyed at them, if you didn't know. We also saw some interesting drafts like Rhea Ripley's staying on Raw, but she's a SmackDown Women's Champion, and Bianca's gone to SmackDown, but she's the Raw Women's Champion. So, you know, we're getting them amazing title swap scenes again. Remember Charlotte and Becky? That wasn't that good. That was actually kind of embarrassing for them. We don't need it. Just, you know, WWE, just merge them together, please, because we need good things. There was also a load of superstars who technically didn't get drafted. They got announced as free agents and not used in the free agents way. Free agents need to sign to a company, but this is WWE and they create their own narrative. So some certain names that have been announced as free agents are, amazingly enough, Baron Corbin, who's just come off having one of the biggest pops he's probably ever had, and that was in Paris recently on the European tour. We've got Elias, who has been split from Boogs, I guess, but they'll still work together. I'm really shocked it wasn't Ezekiel and Elias got drafted somewhere. That would have been absolutely hilarious. Dolph Ziggler, who's been one of the biggest workhorses for WWE for such a long time. I even remember recently he was an NXT champion. And finally, Mustafa Ali, who I guess his character currently being that whole like motivational speaker, even though it's not really good motivation, it could jump across both shows, which makes perfect sense. But in the same regard, doesn't make sense for Brock Lesnar, a guy who really should have been drafted. I guess both USA Network and Fox don't feel comfortable not having him. Regardless, one of them has Roman. Brock is another big draw. You could have had Roman on one show and Brock on another. But then if the ratings do dip when Roman takes breaks, because we all know he does it, Brock could easily fill in that gap, I guess. No faith in Cody Rhodes again. There was also a good chunk of NXT call-ups. Quite a lot of them happened on the post shows, so on the SmackDown Lowdown, which shouldn't be a thing. And on Raw Talk, we saw JD McDonough go to Raw, as well as Zoe Stark. We also saw Von Wagner also end up as one of these free agents. So you bought him up to basically have him as a, I don't want to say the word, but a jobber. We did also see some champions get called up from NXT, and it was surprising how many champions got called up from NXT. We saw the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn, get called up to SmackDown, which is cool, great for them. Alba Fyre, but Kaylee Ray was great back in the day, and to be honest, still is. I'm really surprised she didn't come straight from NXT UK onto the main roster. She was made. This kind of leaves a question when a champion gets drafted. Like, does it already give away that they're going to lose the titles? Straight as soon as they were called up to SmackDown, they were confronted by Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, and we obviously saw, oh, they're probably going to lose the titles. Then on Raw, they called up Kaden and Katana. What's happening with the women's tag team titles on NXT? I've personally had the theory that they're going to merge the titles together. When the women's tag team championships were announced on WWE, it was supposed to be a floating championship. And then they went and made an NXT one. So what was the point of being floating across all three companies? They also called up Indy Hartwell, who is the current NXT Women's Champion, and just retained it as Spring Breaking against Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton. Why did she retain it? She could have lost it. She didn't even need to win the title if you knew she was going to get called up. I'm pretty sure quite a lot of these were very last minute decisions, which is kind of shocking because it feels like they might come up and you don't have a plan. As we say, we'll report more on this as it goes along. But two call-ups made your boy Toby the happiest boy. And that was when Grayson Waller got called up to SmackDown because bloody hell, He's fantastic, and he's been made for this roster for so long, basically to become the new Miz, as I've said previously. And yes, boy, Pretty Deadly have also been drafted up to SmackDown. One of, if not the most charismatic tag teams they've probably ever had in NXT, and obviously NXT UK when that was a thing. This is another call-up I'm really surprised didn't happen a long time ago, especially when NXT UK folded. These guys were ready for main roster. They are so entertaining and really good in the ring. And with WWE's PG product, they are perfect. We don't get to see the draft kick in until the 8th of May after Backlash. It'll be very interesting to see where they go with this, especially with the world title coming into the picture as well. Now we're going to talk about AEW and the fact that All In tickets have just been released for Wembley Stadium through the pre-sales. What a start AEW have had coming to the UK for the first time. The All In tickets, like I said, went on sale today through the pre-sales, and it's been very impressive if you didn't know. A lot of people, it was rumoured around 60,000 people applied for the pre-sale tickets for Ticketmaster, but then a lot of us got really shocked about the fact that AEW VIP pre-sale was a thing. And it turned out if you'd bought anything on Fight TV, you got a code. It was kind of like a thank you. This sale went live at 9 AM, which obviously I took part in, and I managed to get tickets. So yes, there will be a video coming from All In, and we'll do a little blog on it, and it'll be really fun. But back to the point. In the first hour of the first pre-sale, before the Ticketmaster one went on, they sold 15,000 tickets. That is already more than Twitter trolls were trying to guess, so I've got something to say. Ha, 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 ha. You're idiots. Stop gatekeeping. It's stupid. Then we had the standard Ticketmaster problem. The Ticketmaster pre-sale went live at 11 AM and instantly started causing hell across social media. So there was people complaining about the fact that they were put in the queue of around 2,000 more people, and then as soon as they get to number one, they were thrown back to 2,000 people. That's not good, but that's Ticketmaster through and through. Their servers cannot handle an influx like this. And like I said, when 60,000 people applied, that is a lot on servers. It's going to break. Next, we had people complaining that when they got through, they couldn't pick their seats, like specific seats. They had to deal with, being put in the rubbish seats. Well, my friend, have you never considered the fact that there was a pre-sale before your pre-sale and most of them tickets have gone? When I was going through social media in them first 2 hours, majority of the floor seats went. What are you going to do about it? But as of this evening, of the 2nd of May, Dave Meltzer's reported that 35,000 tickets have been sold, which again, ha ha ha, trollers, shut up. Just give up. You knew this was going to be a success. Don't try and drag it down for people because it's not WWE. This has already smashed AEW's previous record attendance, which was at 20,477 in September of 2021. I'm pretty sure it was Grand Slam. With this, there is still more pre-sales to go. We have the Live Nation one coming up, which has had a lot of applicants. And we have O2 Priority, which has a lot as well. Then we have the general sale finally going ahead on Friday. And that is where obviously a lot of people are going to be coming in. Will this thing sell out? Yeah, more than likely. If not, we're going to get very close and then there's going to be last minute tickets go before the event. Majority of hotels are all sold out in London now, especially around Wembley in the next 10 miles or so. It's also going to be very interesting because if you plan on getting the tube after the show, you might have a job, seeing as apparently it stops at 11 PM, the time around the show finishing. At this rate, All In is going to be one of the most successful British wrestling shows ever, and arguably the most successful debut for any company in this country. Well done, Tony Khan. You get a thumbs up. Next, we've got some really great news, and it is about a wrestler that has just announced that they are pregnant, and that wrestler happens to be Carmella. Now, we all know Carmella was off TV prior to WrestleMania when she was tagging with Chelsea Green and then replaced with Sonya Deville. No one really had a clue what was going on, and then there was the rumors of she was having miscarriages quite a lot after her and Corey were trying to have kids. Well, she exclusively released to Good Morning America that she is indeed pregnant, and she's through the first trimester, and apparently everything is going well. She apparently has an addiction to pizza, mashed potato and cucumber at the moment. Keep the cucumber away from the Undertaker. There is also a really lovely video on her Instagram where she announces to her stepkids, obviously Corey Graves' kids, that they're going to have a new sibling. It involves some Nikes and I think they're Air Jordans because I don't really wear trainers. It's a really lovely video. I highly recommend going to check it out. If you want to go and see it, please go over to Carmella's Instagram at Carmella WWE. Also, congratulations to Corey and Carmella. This is a really lovely thing after all the hell you must have gone through with the miscarriages. I don't wish that on anybody, but this is such a lovely thing for you both. Now, we're going to go and ask a question. Was CM Punk in the news today? The answer is yes. That'll do it for today's show. Thank you for coming and watching the news with me. Later on this week, we will be having Backlash predictions because that's happening Saturday. Plus, when more news rolls out, we'll put some interesting stuff in here. Remember to like and subscribe for more news. It's been a pleasure hosting this for you. My name is Toby King, and I will see you in the main event.